What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to dive deeper into the biggest mistake that I feel they've made with the recent reveal for Black Ops 7, and this is carry forward with no apparent skin filter being added. Now, I know I've talked about this a lot with Black Ops 6, and I have brought up this point multiple times since the reveal, but I feel this is worth a dedicated video focused directly on Black Ops 7, because for many, this is the one big sticking point from the reveal that immediately killed any hype that they otherwise would have had for the game. And I know for me, it put a hard cap on my level of excitement for the game. I was really liking the clips I was seeing, I was liking all of the bits of information we were getting from them regarding specific gameplay changes and improvements they're making for the game. But then the moment I saw carry forward and I looked deeper into the exceptions they noted, which didn't include many of the operator skins that many of us would want to be included in those exceptions, that threw a huge wrench in my level of excitement. And for many, they're pointing to this as the deal breaker. They're not getting the game because of this. And this has been a pretty widespread complaint, at least within the vocal community. Obviously, it is hard to quantify how many people actually feel this way, but I've seen an overwhelming number of comments pointing to this as a big negative and potentially even a deal breaker for many. In fact, as far as specific complaints go, we're not talking about the big picture franchise issues like SBMM, disbanding lobbies, the anti-cheat system. But as far as complaints that are focused on Black Ops 7 and the reveal for Black Ops 7, I haven't really been seeing too many complaints outside of this major complaint. So this is the one big negative from the reveal. And I feel like it's just one of those areas where they're teed up for an easy win. If the developers were to announce something like a skin filter, which we're going to be talking about, I'm going to have some specific suggestions and pieces of feedback here. If they were to announce something like that at like COD Next, for instance, that would be a massive win in the eyes of the community. And I think it would turn a lot of the negativity around. Obviously, there are still the bigger picture franchise issues that have been pushing people away, and that will still push them away. A skin filter won't be enough. However, I still think this would be a massive win in the eyes of the community. I do want to acknowledge, for many, they don't really care about this at all. The character skins that you see in the game are totally irrelevant for them. But as I said, for many, this is a really big deal and a deal breaker. Especially with how ridiculous the skins got in Black Ops 6 relative to franchise history. I know Call of Duty hasn't always been like the pinnacle of realism or anything, and there's absolutely been wacky skins integrated over the years, but it got really bad in Black Ops 6 really early on, and it flooded the game very heavily. And for many of us, it's not even about realism and having the game look exactly like a milsim or anything. For many of us, it's just about having some semblance of immersion into the world that they've created, as well as the absolute bare minimum of a cohesive art style. From the clips we've been seeing, I really like the world building that went into Black Ops 7 so far. Yes, it's futuristic and a little bit out there in certain areas, but that's kind of to be expected with a more futuristic shooter. And again, for me, it's not about perfect realism. It's more so just grounding the skins at least somewhat in the general theme and setting of the game. So like even the Vault Edition skins they've announced, I definitely wouldn't call those super grounded skins looking 10 years into the future, for instance, but they at least do fit with the world that they've built here. And the general art style is consistent with the art style of the game. So I'm actually fine with these Vault Edition skins for this game. What I'm not fine with, and what I think will completely kill any sort of the great aesthetics and world building they've made here for multiplayer, are Beavis and Butthead, or American Dad skins, or Ninja Turtles, or human-animal hybrids, whatever this thing is. That's the kind of stuff that just destroys the world building and aesthetic that they've created for the game. So this is why I think if they're carrying these skins forward and they're going to continue to bring in more and more wacky skins that have nothing to do with the art style of the game, I think a skin toggle makes a lot of sense here. And by skin toggle, I mean having the ability on your end to go in the settings and toggle on a setting that disables the really wacky and out there skins to varying degrees, and we'll talk about that pretty soon here. But to me, a skin toggle makes sense because by not having a skin toggle and bringing these really wacky, completely out there skins into the game, that's clearly turning people away. It's killing the hype for a lot of people, and it will be pushing a portion of the community away from the game and possibly even franchise entirely. So they'll be losing sales of the base game from these people, as well as potentially Battle Pass sales that they otherwise would have had. Maybe they'll lose out on a Game Pass subscription that somebody would have kept in order to play Call of Duty, but now they're not interested. And also, they're potentially losing out on bundle sales from those people for the more immersive bundles that those players maybe would have actually been interested in buying. And that's not even mentioning the general harm that these skins are doing to the brand. It really feels like they're trying to make a quick buck here. Yes, there are certain groups that are obviously dropping a lot of money on these skins, but that short-term gain in those skin sales is, I think, going to be having a long-term harm on the brand identity. So I do feel there are quite a few negatives by not having a skin filter if they're going to be bringing these wacky skins back, which they are. Whereas on the flip side of that, the negatives there would be maybe a little bit of backlash and some upset people that want to ensure that every person in their games will see the skin that they paid money for, because it is an FPS game after all, and therefore other people are seeing your skin way more than you are seeing your skin. But for those people, I feel like the backlash against that would be far less than the current backlash we're seeing by not having a skin filter and by forcing this carry forward in. Sure, you'd have a few people that aren't too happy about this decision because they want everybody to see the skin they paid for, but will it be enough to turn them away from the game and franchise entirely? I don't think so, at least not to the same degree that they're pushing the other people away by not having this. Additionally, this filter would be off by default, of course, so the average person probably wouldn't even navigate through the menus to turn this on or anything, so most of the people in the lobby would still be seeing your skins that you paid for. Plus, you have no idea if they have the toggle on or off, so you can always just go in assuming everybody is seeing the skin that you paid for. And you'll never know any different unless you're like specifically asking people if they turn the toggle on. The gameplay experience for them will be no different than if this toggle doesn't exist. Whereas the toggle would make a very big difference for many people, like myself, that want to maintain the general world building and aesthetic. And just a note here, while I don't play COD Mobile, a lot of people have been letting me know that they actually have a skin filter in COD Mobile. So there is some precedence within the Call of Duty franchise for something like this. I don't think it's totally impossible. And to be clear, there should be zero technical limitations to do this as well. My understanding is this would actually be a fairly easy thing to implement on a technical level. And I think there's a couple different routes they could go with when it comes to a skin toggle. I think the very easy win that would be the easiest to implement as well is a toggle to simply disable any carry forward operator skins from Black Ops 6 in Black Ops 7. So this toggle only turns off Black Ops 6 skins, so any Black Ops 6 skins that anybody's using, it will automatically change into a Black Ops 7 skin. And on that note, any skin that gets changed by a skin toggle, I'm actually fine with them using that as a way to advertise the skins in the store, as long as those skins fit with the aesthetic of the game. So that could actually be another upside for Activision here. For those players that turn the toggle on, instead of them seeing a skin from a previous game that they likely can't even buy anymore, it's not available in any store, they can show us a skin for the current game that we can buy. And therefore, they may increase the chance of making sales for those skins because they're showing them to us as we're playing the game. And when it comes to this toggle, I think this would be the easiest to implement because you wouldn't have to categorize each individual skin or anything. It's either a Black Ops 6 skin or a Black Ops 7 skin, and this would just turn off the Black Ops 6 skins. Also, I think in this case, the argument against this doesn't hold as much weight because for those people that would be upset that people can't see their Black Ops 6 skins in Black Ops 7, you paid for that skin in Black Ops 6, and throughout the entire life cycle within Black Ops 6, everybody saw it. So having that skin carry forward to Black Ops 7 is a bonus for you. It's not what you actually paid for to begin with. So if people want to turn that off and they don't want to see that skin that you paid for in a different game, then that's totally fine. Just be happy with that bonus of you being able to put that skin on in the first place in a game you didn't even pay to use that skin for. So I think that would be the easiest implementation, and that would still be seen as quite a big win in the community. I'd be quite happy to see that. Although ideally, what I would like to see, and I'm sure many would agree with me here, is an actual immersion filter, which would be more complex than the previous option because each skin, Black Ops 6 or Black Ops 7, would have to be individually categorized, and they'd have to decide what is considered immersive or not immersive, what fits into the world and what doesn't. And with a bunch of the skins, it would be a bit of a gray area. Like, where exactly do you draw that line? It is a little difficult. So there would be added complexity there. Plus, the people against it would have at least a little bit more ammunition against it because if they're paying for a skin in Black Ops 7, they want everybody in Black Ops 7 to see the skin that they paid for. The positives with this, though, is I fully expect that Black Ops 7 will be bringing wacky skins into the game over time. It seems inevitable at this point. And while the previous filter I talked about would be great at preventing that massive wave of crazy, wacky out there skins from Black Ops 6 the moment Season 1 drops, at the end of the day, it wouldn't disable the Black Ops 7 skins, and there's bound to be wacky ones that ruin the aesthetic of the game slowly over time. It'll be more of a slow trickle rather than a big wave all at once. So this second option of having an actual immersion filter that also applies to Black Ops 7 skins, that would mean that we can actually enjoy the aesthetic that they created for the game throughout the entire life cycle of the game. And that for me, after seeing what's happened in recent years with the wacky skins, would be a huge selling point for the game. I'd be very happy to see something like that. So it would require a bit more work. I think there would be more positives attached to that for a lot of people. But I can acknowledge that it won't be as easy to implement as the first option, and therefore I would be fine with at least the first option, where you can just disable the Black Ops 6 skins And I really think if that's something they were to announce at Call of Duty Next, for instance, that would be seen as a very big win in the community, and I think it would turn at least a portion of the negativity around for the game. Now, as I said, there's still going to be negativity, and I think a lot of rightful negativity when it comes to the bigger picture franchise issues, but they've got such an easy opportunity teed up here for a big win. So I really hope this is something they are looking into seriously and would consider adding to Black Ops 7 before launch, or at the very least, before Season 1 drops. Now, of course, these are all just my thoughts and opinions on this topic, and I am curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How would you feel about a skin toggle, whether that's just a toggle to turn off all Black Ops 6 skins in Black Ops 7, or the more detailed immersion toggle that would allow you to exclude any Black Ops 7 skins as well that are too wacky and non-immersive? Would you see this as a very big positive for the game, maybe a minor positive? Are you kind of indifferent here? Or would you be completely against this? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.